Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Well, it's been a heck of a week around my house and it's time to dive into something a little more fun and hopeful. So, well, this is going to sound strange, but we're going to Revelation 19 verses 7 and 8. And what's hopeful about this is the verse that says, "Let us rejoice and be glad and give him glory, for the wedding of the Lamb has come, and his bride has made herself ready. Fine linen, bright and clean, was given to her to wear." Now, this is a cool verse to me because I have a slight obsession with wedding dresses. Like, I've watched every episode of Say Yes to the Dress. I have them all memorized. I know, just bear with me here. And if I could remarry my husband every year just to wear a new wedding dress, I would. Oh my goodness. This summer is our 25th anniversary. That would be a lot of wedding dresses. So anyway, I know it's a little ridiculous, but I was asking God what in the world this obsession with wedding dresses was all about. And he led me to this. He was like, you know how some people get excited about me preparing a home for them in heaven? Well, I'm also preparing for you the most amazing wedding gown. What you're seeing in human eyes is just a glimpse of what's to come. So that's always gotten me really excited. So I wanted to do this verse because I just feel like it was like a little fun peek into heaven that God was saying, hey, sweetheart, yes, no, you love wedding dresses for a good reason. This is part of my heart for you. And so I loved that. So I'm building her a little tiara here instead of using one of my crown stamps. And I decided I liked it better because it was a little more subtle and I could kind of build it the way I wanted. So I had these little gemstone stamps and this little circle, and I'm making her kind of like a little crown like she might wear on her wedding day. That stamp is the head from the Word Nerd collection from Illustrated Faith, and I know they still have that kit left. If you haven't done it, it's a super great kit. Fun stamps, fun content, all sorts of stuff. So one of the 3D elements we're using here is we are adding embossing to the page. And if you haven't embossed before, all you need is an embossing ink, which is an ink that stays a little bit wet and sticky for a while, and embossing powder. Now this embossing powder is kind of a pearlized gold. It's a really light gold instead of more of a brassy gold. And it is 20 years old. I have had this embossing powder since my grown-up man-child was a baby, and it still works. Now the embossing pad is a new one I bought, and here's the irony. The old one that I have that's 25 years old works better than this new one. I think it's because this new one that I showed you there at the beginning it's $2.99, and the ink is not sticky enough. It's not wet enough. So I would recommend going ahead and spending a little bit more money if you want to do embossing to get a good ink pad. The embossing powders aren't going to change much, but the ink, you need it nice and wet and sticky so that your powder sticks to it. Otherwise, it's just going to be a really frustrating process. Now here you will see on her head there is extra embossing powder, and I decided to go ahead and keep that. Usually I would brush that extra dust away with like a little paintbrush, but I liked it. I thought it looked kind of like part of her veil. So we're building a little bride here today, and so we're starting here with her tiara. So anyway, yeah, this I'm just trying to add a second layer of embossing powder to see if I can get it to stick. And you guys know me, I just roll with the page even if it's not turning out exactly the way I want. This one didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted, but the sentiment is still there. One of my favorite things to say is it's about your heart, not about the art. And that's so true. Like, using art to express our heart is the whole point of this. So it doesn't have to be perfect. And just let me be an example of imperfection for you all and help you feel more comfortable with your pages that don't turn out exactly the way you had hoped. So I have this really cool stamp that's a quote from C.S. Lewis that says, "There are far better things ahead than any we leave behind." And oh, my goodness, if that's not heaven, I don't know what is. So I wanted to put that here, that this plan for us in heaven to be his bride, to be the bride of Christ, is just so exciting. And I tried embossing it, and the embossing powder didn't stick to it at all. Again, I think it's the ink, because I never have troubles with embossing. So don't buy cheap ink when you want to emboss. It just does not work. So I went ahead and stamped over it with my Ranger Archival ink. All of the ink I used on this page is permanent so that I could paint on it or around it. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. And I just love using permanent ink, because then I don't have to worry about it running or bleeding or going anywhere. You can see I'm painting right over the top of it, and it doesn't bleed at all. It just leaves a nice crisp image. So I decided to add some gold behind her, since the gold didn't show up on the embossing so well. This gold paint is part of my Kuretake Gonzai Tombi watercolor set, and I'm painting her this golden veil. And this gold paint is just absolutely stunning from this set. It does not show well on camera. It looks a little bit dirty and dingy, but in person, let me tell you, it's gorgeous. So now I'm going to add some color into this quote by C.S. Lewis. I'm going to just color in some of the filigree work here. And as you watch, I am going to take a light mint green and a darker turquoise, and I'm going to do the letters in this ombre look. Now it's super easy to get this ombre look. All you have to do is color half of a letter in with a light color. Then follow that up with either the top half of the letter or the bottom half of the letter with the darker color. And you'll see I mixed it up. On the word ahead, I did light on the bottom of the letters and dark on the top. And on the bottom, where it says behind, I did the opposite. So you can kind of see what's going on and what technique you might like to give a try. You just need two different colors of a similar shade. You can even ombre two completely different colors if you want, but I think it looks really fun to do two similar colors. I added a little bit of purple to the filigree down there, and I'm adding a little bit of purple to her little tiara crown thing up here. I'm going to go ahead and underline the verses. I'm trying something new. Usually I would just underline freehand, but I end up crossing out a lot of words when I do that. And you guys know me, I don't mind being messy, but if I'm crossing out the words in my Bible, it makes them hard to read. So I'm trying a ruler now. I don't know. I gotta get something under control, right? So down here, I'm just writing amen under her name and above the quote. Up here, I'm writing, "Thank you for preparing me to be your bride." And I just felt like, when you have those special moments with God and he just says something so personal, it was just one of those moments when he was telling me about this wedding dress thing. So I just love that. So now this is a big 3D element we're going to be adding to the page. We're adding lace to the side of the page here. I have been loving adding lace and trims to the edges of my Bible. It's much easier than you would think. I love this Elaine's Tacky Glue, but it's the Fast Grab version, which is really nice because it holds very, very quickly. And you can add lace to the edge of your page, hold it for just a few seconds, and it's going to be stuck. It's going to grab right there. And so you can see it and it stays permanently. It's very strong glue. It's just fantastic. It's my new favorite glue. You can get it at any craft store. You can probably get it on Amazon. I'll see if I can find a link and put that in the notes for you guys. So these are just some washies I think I got these at like Tuesday morning, so they're going to be hard for me to find, but it was just a roll of different gold washies, and I thought, let's add some more sparkle to the page and more gold, since my gold embossing didn't turn out there on the bottom. And so we're just adding a little bit of that. And then you got to kind of sit and stare at the page and decide what you want to do next, if anything, because I wasn't sure if it was getting too busy or if I wanted to add something else. I had a little scrap of lace that I thought might be fun to add, so you will see me messing with that in just a minute. So I'm playing with making this kind of the collar or the top of her dress. The lace kind of naturally curls, which made it a little tricky to put on the edge of the Bible, but makes it really fun to kind of create a little dress for her here. And it's kind of reminiscent of my wedding dress. I had a high collared, not really turtleneck. That sounds terrible. I had a turtleneck wedding dress, but no, the collar on my wedding dress had lace all the way up to the neck. And so this kind of reminded me of my original wedding dress. And look, you'll see me just holding this down for a couple seconds and boom, it's dried. I love that. Again, that's that fast grab tacky glue that is just amazing. So now I am going in with some of this gold paint that I love so dearly, because the watercolors weren't, I didn't take the watercolors all the way to the top of the page there and on the bottom of the page, and they just felt pretty white compared to everything else, because everything else was colored in gold paint or gold washi. So I got out that gold paint that I got at Michael's. It's called Champagne Gold, I believe. And it's a soft gold too. It's so pretty. And just to kind of finish that off. Now this page might feel a little busy to you. It did when I got done. I had a much more simple look in mind. But as I've sat back and looked at it over the last few days before I finally decided to post this video, I was like, you know what though? I like it. I like it because of what it means. I like it because of the moment God and I had when he was telling me why I was so wackadoodle and crazy about wedding dresses. And so I just want to encourage you to journal these personal things and these personal moments with God and not worry about getting it just right. Thanks for hanging out with me today, you guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.